Now, why is it called a Strand?
Because it was, the original theater was the Strand Theater that was here.
Okay. Also, and that was the last name of somebody?
Strand Theater was a chain.
Oh, a chain.
Yeah, it started on the East Coast. There's still some in existence today.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And so as time went on, they just kept the name for a while?
Well, the name had dropped here. We picked it up just because.
Now, I heard from somebody, she must be close to 80, and she grew up here. She says that when she was growing up, there was two main theaters. There was the Paramount and the Strand.
Yes,
and I
sounds
guess,
about right. This theater ceased to exist as a theater in the 50s, and I don't know the exact date on that. Mid to late 50s from what I can tell.
And then she was not allowed to go to the Strand because it had a reputation of being a rough crowd. She was in high school, so I guess that would have been
Rough crowd? I don't know. I mean, it was not a high-end place. The stories I always heard was it was inexpensive, so the kids loved coming here. You could sit here all day for a dime, but it was dirty.
No, I
If
see.
you dropped your candy bar on the floor, you just left it. You didn't bother to pick up, you let the rats get it.
So it was still a theater through the 50s, and
Some up into the 50s at some point.
and it was still called the Strand, or was it something else?
Strand is what it was called until it closed. It was originally the space you're standing in was the livery stable
Oh wow.
to the Ball House Hotel.
Okay,
Livery stable, where they
means
park the horses.
Horses and
buggies.
carriage. Okay, so that
doing?
would have been about.
The hotel was built, the Ball House was built in 1870. So the livery stable was during that time period. And they were two separate buildings back then.
Okay.
And then in the early 1900s, the exact date I don't know, the theater was built that connected, that you took the livery stable and they opened it up and they connected it to the Ball House Hotel.
Okay, now where was the Ball House Hotel?
It was out front.
Oh, you're kidding.
Where the picture you had in your video the other day from out on the street, that was the front of the hotel. But only half of it, because half of it burned down.
Okay, so when we go out on State Street or
On
Front
Front Street.
Street, that area would have been the ballroom. That part of that, at least, the part that's still standing.
Well, the hotel itself didn't have a ballroom or a theater.
Oh, I see.
It was 4 stories. It had a barber shop and some other things. And
Okay.
kitchen, they did food service, and then there was 4 stories of hotel room.
Oh, so when it's called the ballroom, they didn't really
Ball
have
house.
Ball house. Oh, the ball house. I'm sorry, because after the guy that was named Ball, like
Yes,
I forget his first name.
I do too.
But that's how Ballville got its name, right? Because
That I don't know.
yeah, I think so.
don't
There's
know.
some guy that was either some general or something, maybe in Civil War, maybe an explorer or something, where he had a lot of influences here. And that's why we have Fort Ball Restaurant, Ballville, and I guess this was called, as you said, the
Ball House, yes.
Okay, wow. This is exciting.
And it was considered a very upscale hotel for its time.
Okay. And then it became an actual silent movie theater.
Yeah, in the, like I said, early 1900s, they put the theater in, so the livery stable became the stage. And they opened it up all the way in, which lost some of the hotel rooms. And originally it would have been vaudeville, live entertainment. The exact date that film came into the building, I don't know. Neptune's Daughter, as you had, I think, said in your video earlier, was one of the first films shown here. The organ that was here is in a museum in Indiana or Florida. I have that that's out on that timeline I have. And then up until the late mid-50s, the theater closed down. During the 60s, it was like a auction outlet kind of place, like a flea market type of place. And then the Masons took it over in the late 70s and turned it into the Masonic Lodge.
I I remember seeing that name up above Masonic Lodge, I think.
There are a couple buildings in town that do have that. This one does
Oh.
not have that.
Oh, I see.
In the 70s and 80s, you would have seen the sign out front, the different groups. They moved out around 2010, just before we bought it.
And then it was up for grabs, so more or less.
A couple local guys had passed through their hands. Nothing really happened here. Then we got it in 2011. Didn't really have a plan, but the place just kind of has evolved on its own with us.